back to code we give, right? So far so good. We've really accomplished a lot of things by showing you how you can change class, the some kind of a property or attribute of an element using DOM. And let's say we are having a very empty web page right now. So all these guys what we want to create. So I comment them out, and if I refresh this, you see we have nothing right here. So I don't want to use my hand to be writing div with a class of this with a class of that. I want to create it where I want to create it with JavaScript. Oh my god, this is going to be some kind of a very complicated code, but trust me, at the end he's going to love it. All right, let's do this now. So the first is that we really even need to we don't need this because we believe that it doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist in the page, so nothing exists in the page jar. The reason I did remove all these guys because I want to keep them in track to know what I'm doing, so that I'll be using what is here to compare to what I'm doing. So that's all. So we say let's the first thing we want to do is the div element. So the div element is equals to document dot create I think I've actually forgot how I used to do this. So I think it's document dot is it create element. Let's see. I love JavaScript. It's going to throw an error to us. Document dot create element of div. Let's see console the log. I've done this for a long time. Most of the things I'm doing for a very long time. Let's see what we got. Oh my god, let's see the console. Wow, I thought that was going to throw an error to me, and surprisingly I did it very well. So I already created an element to document or create element of div. Wow, this is nice. So then what we do here? We create element with the div, then we set the class name to be equal to box. Then we can say this div element dot class name is equals to box. As simple as that. Let's just refresh this. Let's check the DOM. Let's see the kind of the property that we have. So where are you? Does it exist yet here? So let's just console.log it. So if you console.log the element, we'll be able to see the div element. So we'll be able to see if it adjusts the console.log div element now. So let's check the browser console. Of course it does exist. It exists now. So we actually create the div with a class of box now, so it exists. So for it to work, we need to go ahead and select a place to append it in the HTML document. So we know very surely that we want to append it on body now. So we need to append it now. So to do that, if we go back to JavaScript, so we can say let body because it needs to be kept inside the body. So the body element. So and how can we get the body element? We can say document dot get document dot query selector. Let's just use query selector. There is a way to do this. I'm just going to do this first, then query selector or okay. So this is document dot query selector or this is going to return. I want to select body. This is going to return the body element for console.log. Oh my god, what's console.log? That's wrong. Body element. If there is any error, it's going to throw some error to us. So let's see, it said node list of body. Yeah, so which means we are actually able to get the body element. I'm not really sure if this is the body element. I don't want to view the node list. Okay, is there any way we used to do this? I don't want to use query selector because query selector isn't just Isn't just it. Create element. So okay, I think that's it. I think I've got it. We can use ID. Let's just use query selector. So what do we want to get? We want to get body. So not selector, or let's get the body. All right, so it works. So we have the body now. Can console the log it. So we have the body now. So for it to actually work, I think the way I used to do it right now, then you just be wondering, what's up with this guy? Why is that? You really what's it called? It's been a long time you've used all these things. It is because I am no longer writing a pure JavaScript like when I was really deadfully learning JavaScript. Like I want to know everything in JavaScript. I'm not really doing it anymore. So what I'm doing, I'm using framework called React. So create child node. So or I call it elements. Okay, so what I want to do right here is that I can now select the body elements dot, I think the way we used to do is append. All right, so we used to do dot append, then followed by the div dot element. Let's see, I'm not sure. Oh my god, it works. That's fine. So what you're going to realize is there, even though we don't have all these elements anymore inside the browser, I can even delete it now. Even though we don't have all these elements anymore in the browser, we are still able to use JavaScript to create to go ahead and create the DOM. So we append the div elements to the body element. So that's it. So let's just create a button right now, and this is where JavaScript really make a lot of sense to me. So we've done this, so let's just go ahead and set the button right now. So I don't want to mess up with the code, so let's button element. So this is button element is equal to document. So we know how to do it now. Dot create element. Then what we want to create, we want to create button. So button is created now, so we know that. So we need to actually put a text, or let me say a value inside the button, isn't it? So I believe the way I used to do it is button element there. Is it text node or dot text? It's really been a long time I've done this. So look, I believe if I use dot inner text, it's going to work. Is equals to change bg as we've done before. So let's just now say body elements dot append. Let me see if append child will work. Append child of button element is supposed to throw error at me. Wow, it doesn't even throw error at me. Oh my god, this is like a magic to me, because everything is working. What I've learned for years is working. So then I believe if this is works, then we should use append child. Append child is the best, I think so. Then it's works. So we have the button, but what you are going to realize is that even though we have the button with the inner text of bg, if we try to click the button, nothing is happening. So we need to go ahead and make something happen like we did to the body before, because the goal is to set up everything that we have scattered here in the HTML. The goal is to set it up. So we can just go ahead and say, since we've append you, then let's just say button dot add events listener. I think so. Sorry, listener. So this is not button, it's button element for real. So event listener allow us to add an event instead of using on click on the element. So we are going to add an event and create a function, a callback function that event is going to invoke. I think that's what I'm doing now. JavaScript is not hard, it just need time. So click now. So when this button is clicked, then we want to do this function. So we can say function. So this is the function that we want to do right now. So it's not really something serious that we want to go ahead and pick the button element dot what's it called. Okay, it's not the button element. We want to pick up the div element dot class name, or let me say dot style, since that's what we do before. Dot background is equals to blue. I think that's what we did before. Let's check this out. So I refresh this. When I click the change button, then it's working fine, as if I'm doing what's it called, I'm doing it within the HTML, even though I'm doing everything within the JavaScript. So everything is working fine. So that is that. I think we are done with the button and the distance. So let's create some other couple of button. So instead of using button elements, so we know that it is button are very many there, so we can use button 1, button 2, like that. So button, sorry, let's refresh this, button 1, like that. So we can use, oh my god, I nearly forget all this guy. So JavaScript is just going to throw an error to me. Button 1, okay, that's not bad, that's not really bad. So button element 1, button element 1. So let's create button element 2 is equals to document the create elements. So it's going to be button, it's not going to be button 2. Then we can say button 2 dot inner text is equals to our starts. Okay, so that's it. I don't want to mix things up by mixing everything in button 1, so let's just go ahead and put this up. So this is nice now. So let button 2 elements equals to document or create element on button. Then we can say button 2 dot add event listener. When you are click, since we want to start the animation now, so we can return this function. Right here we can just say button what's called div element dot class name is equals to the box animate. So we want to start the animation now. Oh my god, I need append it, and this is where it's very important. So when I create it, I need to say body elements dot append child or button 2. So it's only when you append it that is when it's going to show up. So it shows up now. Let's click start, and it starts. Boom, it's working, everything is fine. Another thing I noticed is that this button are actually they're actually sitting down on each other. So let's just design it. Button 2 dot style dot margin from the left, so its camera case is equals to 5 pixels. So we have space right now. So if I click start, it starts. If I click change what's it called, change BG, it's not going to work because we've already toggle it up and start this animation. So let's find a way to stop it now. So to stop it, we know that I'm just going to copy all this guy. So this is the syntax we know now, and this is going to be stop. So this is going to be button 3. Obviously we can just use button 2, is going to work, but it's not just advisable. This is button 3, good. This is stop. Alright, so we add event listener. We need to change the class back to box. I think this one's supposed to work then. Where is it? Class of box animate. This guy, okay, it's not going to work because that's class. Let's start. It's working. Let's stop. Let's start again. Okay, it's working. Let's stop. It's working. So that's all for this class. That's what I want to show you. So we can do a lot of stuff with this, can create a lot of elements with this, but the question is you might be thinking that which one do I prefer? Should I be using JavaScript to create my element, or I should just be using it? And that is because you don't need to make decision. With time, the more you work, the more you create more projects, you're going to realize that there are some stage all. There are some extents whereby you really does need it. You need it. That's it. You need it. You need to do this instead of doing that. It will just come naturally. You don't need to make any decision like which one do you like. All right, thank you. Do a lot of stuff with this. Let me see. Show me. And that sounds like an assignment to me now. It's all right. See you in the next video.